Hello everyone, good morning to all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so we have meeting today about the workplace health and safety policies and procedure. The purpose of the workplace health and safety and policy procedures. This policy applies to ABC Childcare Center. Center has a commitment to providing a healthy and safe environment for children, staff and visitors to the center. The policy complies with the Work Health and Safety WHS Act 2011. So the definition of safety policies and procedure of WHS: a hazard is any potential dangerous situation within the work environment. Incident means an event or circumstance that leads or could have led to unintended or unnecessary harm during a person's participation in the work with us. An injury is any incident that causes harm to a person during the participation in work activities as WHS communication and consultations means sharing information, giving workers a reasonable opportunity to express view and taking those views into account before making decisions on health and safety matters. Duty holders refer to any person who owes a work health and safety duty under the WHS Act, including a person conducting a business or undertaking PCBH. Designer, manufacturer, importer, supplier, installer of products or plant used at work, upstream duty holders, and officer and workers. PCBU refer to the principal duty holder under Work Health and Safety Act 2001. WHS Act is a person conducting a business or undertaking PCBU. This is us, the employer. Officer is a person involved in making key decisions about the organization's operation and include the center manager or director and members of the management committee. The officer must support the president by exercising due diligence to ensure that the ABC Center complies with its WHS obligation and duties. So, on our view, we recognize the importance of providing a safe and healthy environment for staff, contractors, children, and visitors. We aspire for excellence in workplace health and safety and are committed to providing an environment which is free from risk and conducive to the productivity and efficiency needs of the children, staff, and others. So we go with the policies. Number one is compliance with legislation. 1.1, we meet the requirement of the Work Health and Safety Act 2001 and comply with all other relevant legislation, regulations, code of practice, advisory and best practice standards, as well as organizational policies and procedure. And the second is organizational responsibility and commitment. And 2.1, we are committed to providing a safe, healthy environment for all children, staff, and others during their participation in activities with us. Encouraging active participation, cooperation, and consultation with all staff and others in the promotion and development of measures to improve health and safety. Actively responding to, recording, and investigating all incidents. In 2.2, all changes to the company's WHS policy and procedure are to be approved by the center manager prior to adoption. The third point, staff responsibility, is in 3.1. The policy identified the roles and responsibility allocated to each individual within the center. It is noted that while the nominated supervisor carries the day-to-day responsibility to provide and maintain, so far as is reasonably practicable, a working environment that is safe and without risk to the health and safety of all employees within the center is the ultimate responsibility of the management committee. In 3.2, the Management Committee are responsible for monitoring the effectiveness of this policy. In fulfilling their WHS obligations, the Management Committee's role is to gain an understanding of the operation of the business and the hazard and the risk involved, to ensure appropriate resources and processes are provided enable hazard to identify and risk the eliminated or minimized. In 3.3, the nominated supervisor and senior educator are collectively responsible for the effective implementation of the center WHS policy. The nominated supervisor and senior educator work to achieve a healthy and safe workplace by fulfilling WHS responsibility according to the WHS Act and associated regulation through the development and application of the policies and state work standards, applying, regulating, and standards specific to the childcare industry within the center in addition to state WHS legislation, regulations, standards, and code of practice. In 3.4, staff members play an integral role in the practical application of WHS policy and procedure. The nominated supervisor or senior educator will assist employee to understand their WHS responsibility in the workplace, which include a duty of care, take all reasonable practicable steps for their own health and safety and of others in the workplace, act in accordance with the safety direction and procedure documented in ABC Center policies, legislation, and supporting document. In 3.5, our center has an appointed health and safety representative, HSR. The HSR is provided health and safety representative training through an accredited training organization to support them in fulfilling the duties of the role. The HSR role is to represent the WHS interest of employees, to provide WHS induction training for new employees. 3.6, ABC Center has a duty of care to protect the health and safety of other people who may be at or near the workplace in addition to employee and children such as visitors or other non-employees. These include parents, students on the work placement, or other visitors. Regular visitors, example, specialist squad of music tutor will be provided with that WHS induction. Visitors should act in appropriate visitors. Regular visitors, example, specialist squad of music tutor will be provided with that WHS induction. Visitors should act in appropriate manner to ensure the safety of themselves and others when on the center premises. Fourth point is consultation and communication. 4.1, employees WHS interest and concern and discussed at the managed community meeting. These perform providing open and responsive communication and consultation between the management and employees of the center to ensure the health and safety issues and regularly monitored and the risks are managed appropriately. The 5 is reporting. 5.1, all staff and others are required to report any identified workplace hazard and associated risk as soon as they become aware of them. Employees will be report this to a senior educator who will then take it further to the center manager. 5.2, all staff and others are required to report any incident that causes harm to a person during the participation in the work and or training activities with us. 6 reports. 6.1, appropriate reports of the organization risk management strategy. Workplace hazard and workplace injuries will be accurately maintained at all times on the premises. 7 is injury management. 7.1, as a first priority, first aid should be sought following a workplace injury and the insured employee, supervisor or manager notified as soon as possible. If necessary, further treatment should be arranged depending upon the severity of the injury, that is, treatment by ambulance, taken to the hospital by ambulance, or consulting a doctor. 7.2, a valid certificate of capacity must be obtained from the nominated training doctor and TD, specifying the insured employees exact injury and diagnosis, further treatment requirement, and their fitness for work. 7.3 deal with these policy only deal with employees' injuries. Refer to the first aid, incident, injury, trauma, and illness policy for dealing with children. 8.6, return to work. 8.1, the employer RTW coordinator will notify the insurer of the injury within 48 hours of becoming aware of the injury. 8.3, once suitable duties have been determined by the employee, return to work coordinated and insured employees, supervisor or manager. A return to work plan will be developed to outline the specific duties the insured employee will perform, the hours and location of suitable duties, and any medical restrictions to be applied to the insured employees RTW. 9.1, WHS performance evaluation. 9.1, WHS management system to be audited annually. 9.2, to assist with the evaluation, staff are to be provided with a questionnaire and asked to fulfill it with. The requirement should ask how they feel about the WHSMS over the previous 12 months and whether, in the experience, the key performance indicators have been made. 9.3, a yearly internal audit carried out by one of the team leaders should include a summary of the WHS issues encountered by staff, clients, and contractor over the year, the extent to which objectives and targets have been met. 9.4, all the staff should have the ability to contribute the annual audit. And then moving forward of WHS procedures, the first one is work health safety and inspection. 1.1, these are the steps. 1.1, annual workplace inspection is the responsibility of manager. 1.2, the operation workplace inspection, again the responsibility of center manager. 1.3, regular workplace inspection. It includes hazard inspection should be performed prior to every staff meeting. It's senior educator responsibility. 1.4, control hazard or hazard identified through any of the above inspection must be reported to the operation manager using the workplace hazard report. Appropriate action must be taken to control any hazard identified. Hazard and control mechanism are to be recorded in the central safety and hazard register for all identified hazard. So these responsibilities is all staff. And then we go next. Second point, identify and control hazard. 2.1, identify and control hazard. All staff have a responsibility to respond to hazard and preserve risks to health and safety. This goes with all staff and center manager responsibility. Workplace incidents. 3.1, workplace incident. If an incident occurs in the workplace, any person attending to the incident or witness to the incident are to fulfill workplace incident form. Where the incident involved an injury, the first person with attendance to a workplace injury should contact the first aid officer or emergency service in the case of serious injury. Workplace injury form are to be provided to the operation manager, who will use the record to gather account of the incident and use them as the basis of an investigation into the incident. If required, all serious injury will be reported to workplace. And these are all the responsibility of all staff members and center manager. Fourth, health safety and consultation and communication. Steps included. 4.1. Health and safety consultation and communication will be carried out as follows. In meeting, where work and health safety is always an agenda thing. One-off meeting to discuss health and safety issue arising. This is the center manager responsibility. Fifth point is injury management and returning to work. 5.1. If an employee injured during the course of the employment, a workplace injury and illness form is to be completed by the employee's manager or the employee RTW coordinator and submitted to the operation manager within 48 hours of the injury being sustained. This is the responsibility of RTW coordinator. Then we go with the evacuation procedure, simulation, addiction. Important thing is this addition needs to be used in conjunction with your evacuation procedure as is deal with the specific in relation to managing children during an emergency evacuation. This is very important to ensure the simulation is in industry specific and you are prepared for your work placement. All educators assemble children on the evacuation row. Baby room educator assemble babies in the labeled evacuation pod. Head count all children before exiting the room. If on lunch or programming, return to your room to assess if it is safe to do. Check bathroom, kitchen and other hiding areas. All rooms take emergency backpack and attendance roll and any emergency medication on the top of the fridge with child and action plan. Collect children and staff to exit the room with one educator at the front of the room and one at the end. Once all bodies have evacuated the room, then close the doors and window if safe to do so. Follow your group of children at the end of the line to the evacuation point. Evacuate to the evacuation meeting point using the closest emergency exit. In case of stair, older children will evacuate downstairs, first with babies. Wait in the cot at the top of the stair. Educator will place a second cot at the bottom of the stair and remove the babies one at a time. Carry them down the stair and place them into the second evacuation pod. At evacuation area, call roll and rise arm while holding up the green card if all are present until center manager acknowledges this. If a child is missing, alert supervisor in charge and hold up the red card until the manager acknowledges this. So these all are our policies, procedures and evacuation situation which we can use in our workplace and not in our everywhere workplace. So thank you for all. Hopefully we will got it, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.